students following their own motivation and their own passion, education can be so exciting. Part of what makes Walden Project special, in my 11 years of working with the project, starting on day one, was that the students really had an opportunity to dictate what was the direction of the program, where were we going. So, we might have thought out like, what does tomorrow look like, or what does next week look like, and we knew this idea of using Thoreau as the lens and those three critical questions that he asked in his sojourn at Walden Pond. What is my relationship with myself? What is my relationship with my culture? And what is my relationship with the natural world? So we had those sort of three broad questions. We knew we wanted the students to really deeply explore what that meant. And we would come up with ideas and suggestions, but we really wanted the students to really frame out the experience and to really own their experience, because that was something that I was observing as a mainstream classroom teacher, was that even the students that were doing well and were succeeding by conventional standards, they weren't connected with what was going on.
We have students all across the board that have found a home, being together in a relationship with not only each other but the land.
And it's sort of our job as educators to make this relevant as far as meeting graduation requirements, lining up with their dreams and aspirations when they get outside of their public high school experience.
Walden outstripped our general graduation to college rate. We were at 53% when I got here. Walden's been 80% or above the whole time, and I believe last year was 100%.
Walden is directly responsible for giving me a relationship to nature, and now I'm obsessed.
The entire school year we're working on different projects and learning about this piece of property, the natural history, and thinking about management.
It's everybody's tree. It's the environmental tree. It's a tree.
The ideas have an opportunity to exist in relationship to each other. Students have an opportunity to think about how these ideas mesh with their own worldview, and to sort of recognize that it's not one person is the holder of knowledge, but rather it's the tension and the back and forth.
That kind of debate on that kind of discussion just never ever happened before Walden. I'd been thrown into a world that I really didn't have an opinion about.
I don't think that I ever thought about what I ate before Walden, and then suddenly kale is what I craved.
Walden gave me a lot of time to reflect. It gave me a lot of time to reflect. And I definitely felt like when I was in Walden I had a lot of aha kind of moments. I was like, oh my god, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
That community is definitely an element that you can't find in regular high school, and it is what you make it.
As a species, I think the most important relationship that really faces humanity in the 21st century is what is our relationship with the natural world, and how are we going to heal this disconnect that seems to exist. And I don't think it's going to happen because enlightened policymakers somewhere create these edicts and suddenly that's going to create a change. I think it's going to happen at a much more organic level, pun intended, with students. Young people really have an opportunity to develop a personal relationship with the land.
We really need to make sure that we are listening to what they have to say, and that we are allowing them to have a lot of opportunities and not get caught up in this idea of constant testing. I just think about the work that I see from my students, and I think it's wonderful evidence of what they're capable of, and it really shows growth and learning.
There's no question that Walden has been a very positive space for many learners who were coming out of traditional high school classroom settings where they were completely unable to engage with the social and academic dynamics that were going on there. Perhaps place-based education offers a diverse landscape in which to sort of locate your learning that has a little bit more sticking power in your mind than, let's say, a very homogeneous internal environment of classrooms.
In life, you are stuck out in the woods with a bunch of people who you didn't necessarily pick, and many of them are very strange and unlike you. And you can make the best or worst of that situation, and I really feel that you have made the best of it, and I hope that you continue to do